Call to order the public hearing on the fiscal year 2024-2025 proposed budget. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Here.
Woodside.
Here.
Ross. Here. Garner.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
Thomas.
Present.
6 present.
Ben?
Sure. So at our budget workshop 6 weeks ago-ish, 5-6 weeks ago, presented the entire budget, ran through all the departments, all the funds. So the approval of the budget is on under new business tonight. As a reminder, fiscal year starts May 1st. So we're going to have our public hearing tonight on the budget. Brian's going to give a review of the budget just as a reminder and for the public in case they had missed a budget hearing. And then at the end, talk about other changes from when we first presented the budget between now, which are minimal, and I think we've kind of kept you updated along the way since the first budget hearing. So I'll turn it over to Brian to run through the budget.
All right, thank you, Pat. As you know, we are trying out some new budget software this year, meant to provide a better online experience. So as we go through the presentation, you'll see those kind of screenshots there on the left side. First menu, drop-down menu, is the mayor's budget message. This is meant to be kind of a really high-level overview from the mayor to the citizens. A couple of the highlights: budget was prepared with no property tax. Village maintains healthy reserves, particularly in the general fund. We only have $3.7 million in outstanding debt. That's the lowest of any community in Illinois, over 25,000 population. We also have the lowest cost of water among those receiving water from Lake Michigan Water from CLC Jawa. Budget includes some senior discounts for water and building permits, and we have applied for and received the GFOA award for outstanding budget presentation and for every year since 2006, 2007. Moving to the next menu, introduction menu. The first page down there is the transmittal letter. This is from the administrator to the board. It gets a little bit deeper into the numbers. Total revenues across all funds, $99.13 million. Total expenditures, $100.94. General fund is balanced at $51.6 million. Projected ending fund balance next at 4/30/25 is $31.9 million. That's about 74.7% of expenditures less transfers, so well above our policy of 60 to 65%. The budget includes the addition of 6.6 FTEs. We'll go over those in a little bit. The capital plan was tweaked slightly, $16.5 million, and that includes revenue for a capital transfer from the general fund of $3 million. That's split $1.5 million to the capital fund and $1.5 million to the water and sewer fund. Help fund those. I just go up. Help fund those capital improvement projects, infrastructure projects in those funds. Also in the transmittal letter, it talks about some of the challenges. Obviously, inflation, lead times, leading to personnel costs. All those things are still challenging this budget cycle. And then it talks about some incentive agreements that we have coming in place and upcoming or anticipated, kind of keep that commercial tax base robust. Further down in the introduction menu, you'll find this fund structure page. Not a whole lot here, but I did want to point out one addition this year. We are creating a new fund, the Economic Development Fund. This fund will remove from the general fund incentive agreements, the Lake County Convention Visitors Bureau contribution, capital grant, kind of all that economic development activity. Over time, it'll build up its own reserve to be used in case something comes up. So that is new this year. A little bit further down, more into the numbers, we see the executive overview section here. This chart is the net use of fund balance, shows revenues, expenditures, and then net use of fund balance. Overall, across all funds, using about $1.8 million. Just note a couple of the ones that are going down, and it's largely for capital improvement projects or capital projects. Impact fee fund, using about $127,000. The PD restricted revenue fund, $38,000. Capital improvement fund, $4.6 million. Again, that's from prior year surpluses that have been moved into there, and just general year-over-year operating surpluses over time, or capital surpluses over time, projects coming in lower than expected. Water and sewer fund, same thing, drawing that down to complete infrastructure projects. Fleet services, this is a planned drawdown. We had built up quite a bit of balance in there based on the timing of vehicles, buying vehicles, not buying vehicles, so we're using a little bit of that this year. And then in the joint ETSB fund, drawing that down by $2 million, it includes a contribution to the consolidated dispatch and a couple other large capital items, so. Further down, see this chart, this is an important one. This shows the projected ending fund balance next year. Just hit a couple highlights. General fund, as we said, 74.7%. The capital improvement fund, projected end with 3.9 million. We like to measure that one against the home rule sales tax, which is the primary funding source. So it's about 73.1% of annual home rule sales tax. Water and sewer fund, 4.3 million balance. Like to measure that against water and sewer revenues annually, so it's 41.6% of revenues. Health insurance fund, as we talked about, has been negative. That was a new fund 2 years ago. Had some unanticipated health insurance costs that we had in there. We'll look to get that balance back to zero over time. Either way, it balances against the general fund, which is 31.9 million. So negative variance of 575 is something we could deal with over time. Fleet services fund, as I mentioned, built up a balance of 1.4 million. And then the joint ETSB fund will come down to 357,000 at the end of next year. Next page under the budget overview menu is personnel. Budget includes total budgeted FTEs of 245.4. We are carrying 13 unbudgeted FTEs. This allows us to onboard personnel in anticipation of retirements. So there's no loss in service. So for a total authorized of 258.4. Admin adding 1.75 FTEs. Community development is down 1. Police is up 3.5. Fire up 2. And public works, small adjustment for part-time. 71.3% of all personnel is in public safety, 15.5 roughly public works, 6.8 administration, and 6.36 community development. Getting more into the numbers now. Next menu is funding sources. This gives us detail on all revenue categories. Looking at the total budget, 99.13, roughly 52% of all revenues come into the general fund. 15.4% into the pension funds, 10.4 into the water and sewer operating and capital funds, 5.8 into the capital fund, 8.9% comes into the 2 internal service funds, health insurance and fleet services, 6.3 to the various special revenue funds we have, and then a smaller percentage for the joint ETSB and the golf course. Looking at revenues by category, again here we are across all funds. So 34.8% are major revenues. That's sales tax, amusement tax, food and beverage, hotel. So obviously rely heavily on those. Charges for service makes up over 20%. Investments and contributions, roughly 17.3. Other sources, this includes the revenue side of interfund transfers, 11.4. Intergovernmental, this is income and use tax here for primarily, 10.9%. And then taxes, fines and forfeitures, licenses and permits, all under 2.2% there. Looking a little deeper at major revenues, budget across all funds, 34.45 million. Just real quick, sales tax is expected to end this year at 26.05 million. Budget for next year is 25.7. Amusement tax expected to end just over 3.7. This year, budget for next year is 3.7. Food and beverage expected to end at a little over 2.7. Budget for next year is 2.65. And hotel tax, year-end estimates 2.4. Next year's budget at 2.4. Left that one flat. So you can see in the first 3 we were a little more conservative than we think we're going to end this year. Getting to the expenditure side, total budget of 100.94 million. It's up 7.5 million or 8.1%. Of all expenditures, 51.1 are in the general fund, 12.2 in the water and sewer operating and capital funds, 10.3 in the capital fund, 8.8 in those 2 internal service funds, a little over 8% in the pension funds, 6.4% of all expenditures in those various special revenue funds we have, and then 3% for the joint ETSB and a small amount for the golf course. Looking at how that money is spent, obviously personnel heavy, salary and wages 37.5. If you combine that with the employee benefits of 14.6, over 50% of expenditures are for personnel. That's what we would expect. Other financing uses, this includes the expenditure side of interfund transfers, 16.3, capital 11.7, that includes capital for water and sewer and non-water and sewer, because it's across all funds. Contractual services 11.6, other contractual 3.3, and then supplies, professional technical services and debt service, smaller amounts there. Looking at the capital plan, mentioned this changed just slightly, actually went up. Total 16.5 million. That's just down from last year's 752,000, or about 4.4%. Includes transportation system spending of 6.8 million. Buildings and building improvements, 3.35. Here's where we had one change. We added the material storage bin replacement. We had some savings in some other programs, roads and the water program, that we were able to squeeze that in the budget this year. Water and sewer system, 2.9 million. Vehicles and equipment, just over 2 million. Stormwater management, 325,000, and technology, 915,000. Outstanding debt, as I mentioned before, the only outstanding debt the village has is the IEPA loan. Again, this was originally just over $5 million at a fixed rate of 1.84%, which is very good. Term of 20 years. I would note we are paying it at a rate to get the term down to 10 years. As you can see, principal paid to date, $787,000. Additional principal paid to date, $750,000. So we're paying it basically twice as fast as we need to. Included in the packet tonight is a water and sewer rate adjustment, an increase of 6%. As we had mentioned in the budget workshop, the CLC Jawa rate's going up 5%. Overall rate adjustment 6%. Obviously, we want to smooth out rate adjustments for pending infrastructure replacement. Keep up with that, with our needs for that. This chart shows us in comparison to all CLC Jawa customers. We are the lowest with the exception of Volo, who levies a property tax to offset some of their water infrastructure expenses. Even with this adjustment, we are still the lowest. There was an article in the paper this last week about a Jawa community increasing 11%, so we're all kind of in the same boat. But if no other community, no other Jawa community changed anything, we would still, and we went up 6% for the next 5 years, we'd still be mid-pack. So still very, very good water rate for our customers. Changes since the budget workshop. In the general fund, we added 5,000 for MABUS dues. In the 911 and on the joint ETSB side, remove that contract dispatching of 150,000 that we had originally put in there. Capital Improvement Fund, there was a bucket truck transfer from the Capital Improvement Fund and the Water and Sewer Fund to the Fleet Services Fund. That's eliminated. Adjusted for actual roof repair bids, road bids, and water main bids, and then added in the material bin replacements and an engineering consultant due to staff turnover. So I added some additional dollars there. With that, on the regular agenda tonight is approval of the annual budget, amending the fee schedule to reflect the 6% water and sewer rate increase, and then authorizing the capital transfer of $3 million, $1.5 million to the general capital fund and $1.5 million to the water and sewer fund to support those infrastructure programs. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions to my right? Questions to my, trustee
If you're staying on the
Christensen?
right.
Sorry. Just thought you were waving at me.
No. So in our individual preview sessions, I was discussing that possibly we could use the word new in the transmittal letter is where you thought it would go. Yep. So it breathes, I'd say, two things. The first time reader, some excitement into what are we doing new versus same old. And secondly, it really allows us to capitalize on what we just implemented well for each of our departments. And not to use it for that purpose, but, I mean, so I don't know, because I didn't see in a revised news transmittal letter if you included this new, but I keep doing this because I don't know if you're going to bold it or italicize it, but, I mean, we've got several things to really celebrate and be able to let our residents know. Like, I just listed the senior discounts, the community development dedicated category. Maybe people don't realize the benefit of that, but there is. The new businesses, Kubota, that's just huge. And even the flat cameras, and I couldn't think of everything for every department, but those are top line, some things that I think are really beneficial to our village. So, that's it.
I have started that section. We will put it in the transmittal letter for the final budget that we submit for the GFOA award, so it'll be in there and we'll have it updated for next year.
Wonderful, thanks.
Thanks, Karen. To my left, any comments or questions? Being none, is there a motion to recommend? Motion by trustee Garner.
Second.
Second by trustee Balmas. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll start in 5 minutes. ghostwriters.
That is true.
Call to order the Gurnee Village Board meeting, regular meeting of April 22nd, 2024. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Here.
Woodside.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Garner.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
Thomas.
Present.
6 present.
You'll all stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start the meeting, I thought I would introduce the community engagement coordinator that we've just hired. I'll give total credit to Ellen on this, right? She puts it right smack in front of me, even with a phonetic spelling of your last name, Matt. So this is Matt Trujillo. Is that right? Yep. All right. Okay. So I'll read the paragraph that has been written for you. So Matt comes to Gurnee with a Parks and Recreation Management background, most recently with the Waukegan Park District, and prior to that, the Village of Fox Lake. Matt is a proud Eagle Scout. You'll see a few of those wander through here over time. He grew up in Lake County and currently lives in Grays Lake with his wife, Emma. In his new role with the Village of Gurnee, Matt will be working closely with the Mayor's Office and Economic Development, serving as a resource for and connector among the village residents, businesses, and agency partners, coordinating community events, providing opportunities for neighborhoods to work together and have a voice, and putting a spotlight on Gurnee's business community. So, welcome, Matt. This is end of, let's see, this is start of week 2, right? Is that right? Okay. On to the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
6 ayes.
All right, Pat.
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the April 8, 2024 meeting. Item number 2, approval of ordinance 2024-28, removing one Class 1 liquor license and adding one Class 5 liquor license by amending Section 6-56 of Article 2 of Chapter 6 of the Gurnee Municipal Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages, Tacos El Durango, 3900 Washington Street, request to move to a more restrictive license. Item number 3, approval of request from Public Works Department to waive the formal bidding process and award trimming of 1,023 larger parkway trees to ArborCare Solutions, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $100,000. Item number 4, approval of request from Information Systems to renew the Arctic Wolf Managed Security Services contract for a period of 1 year at a cost of $118,090. Item number 5, approval of payroll for period ending April 5th, 2024, in the amount of $1,017,444.20. Item number 6, approval of bills for period ending April 22nd, 2024, in the amount of $859,239.43.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Trustee Ross, second by Trustee Thorstenson. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to petitions and communications. Approval of proclamation designating April 26, 2024 as Arbor Day in the Village of Gurnee. Let's see. So today, actually, I received a letter from the Arbor Day Foundation, and actually, instead of reading, well, I could read a portion of the memorandum that Austin so graciously prepares for me. So I'll read that, and then I'll read a portion of the letter that talks about Gurnee being named again the Tree City USA, and the reasons for that. Every April, Arbor Day is celebrated nationally as a call to action for people to take care of trees and promote their growth. It acknowledges the importance of trees in the ecosystem and the role they play in providing clean air, water, and habitat for wildlife. This day also encourages people to plant and maintain trees, as the village planted 170 trees and trimmed 2,536 trees during this past year. I think it's amazing we even counted that many, right? So, finally, it highlights the responsibility of every citizen to protect and preserve the natural environment for future generations. Now therefore, I, Thomas Hood, Mayor of Gurnee, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 to be Arbor Day in the Village of Gurnee, and hereby urge all citizens to celebrate and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. So before I go for the motion, just to speak further, founded in 1976, Tree City USA is a partnership between the Arbor Day Foundation, the U.S. Forest Service, and the National Association of State Foresters. Gurnee is part of an incredible network of more than 3,600 Tree City USA communities nationwide with a combined population of 155 million. And on behalf of the Arbor Day Foundation, Mr. Lamb, the CEO of Arbor Day Foundation, congratulates us on earning recognition as 2023 Tree City USA and receiving a Growth Award. He thanks us for taking pride in our community by planting, nurturing, and celebrating trees. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee O'Brien. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's see, on to reports. So this is a presentation by staff, right, about
Yes.
non-bargain employee classification and compensation study results.
Sure. So Rachel Skaggs from GovHR was planning on being here tonight, got stuck in Florida, so wasn't able to make it. So we've got Erica and Christine are going to lead the charge here. There was a memo in your packet regarding this study, so this was talked about during the strategic planning process, talked about throughout the budget process, and just basically as a reminder, so our bargain groups, compare them to their comparables, try to keep them at the 75th percentile. I actually have moved above that a little bit. So the goal here was to try to achieve the same thing with the non-bargain employees. So worked with GovHR to go through a process as far as looking at the positions, salary surveys, job analysis questionnaires, et cetera, to come up with the adjustments that would be needed to get our ranges to that 75th percentile for some different positions that are included in your packet tonight. So Eric and Christine are going to run through the process and the results of the recommended results of the process. And then under new business, item number 10, looking for your approval and sign off on the recommendations and the new ranges that were attached to the memo. So.
Thank you, Pat. As Pat mentioned, tonight, Christine and I are going to review the village's classification and compensation study that was conducted by GovHR on behalf of the village for the non-bargain employees. As you mentioned, the purpose of the study is to ensure that village salary ranges for non-bargain employees are competitive in today's market and comparable to the 75th percentile of our municipal comparables. In order to provide a neutral review of the recommended changes, we worked with GovHR to have that external source to review and gather the data for us. And included in your board packet is a full report. So we'll go ahead and get started with GovHR's presentation. We'll review the benefits of the study, the job evaluation, market survey, the proposed plan, and the implementation and future administration of the study. Some of the benefits of the project was the internal equity, the unique measurement of each of the positions, involving staff, so employees were involved in the process. There was at least one position that was, one person from each position that was interviewed. Collaboration, so finance, HR, we worked closely with GovHR to ensure a successful implementation. We looked at pay equity, internal equity to ensure that that was there. Competitiveness measured against comparable communities. Durability, focusing on the classification and compensation system that's going to be viable for years to come. And then our focus was on recruitment and retention to avoid costs related to employee turnover and recruitments. So during this study, 37 positions were reviewed using the 9 factors that are listed here. So we looked at education that's required for the specific positions, including preparation and training, work experience, how many years of experience are required in order to be able to perform in the position, decision-making and independent judgment that varied between different positions, any responsibility for any policy development, as well as planning individual work, contact with other people, both inside and outside of the organization, any supervision that was required for the position, as well as working conditions, and then any technology that was required in order to fulfill the position. Positions were evaluated based on the information that was received by the village. We did virtual interviews. We also had employees review their job descriptions. Those were also discussed with GovHR during those virtual interviews. And then classification plan was developed based on internal equity. So how do those, what do those positions mean to Gurney as well? Because not every community has the same position that we may have. And so we looked at that internal equity as it relates to us. This is a list of the comparable communities that we looked at during the study. So along with the information that was received by GovHR, the village also gathered additional information through our public salary sites that are available that provide more information on salaries. So the way that the salary survey worked was that GovHR collected the data through the use of salary. They sent salary surveys out for each specific position, including specific information on those positions to be able to get accurate data back from those communities. Once that data came back to the village, we reviewed it to make sure that that was appropriate for the position that we were trying to survey. And then we looked at the ranges, salary ranges, to gather the salary data. And then we also reviewed it against the current market. In your packet, you have more detailed information on the salaries. This is a summary of the compensation plan. So this relates to it being calculated at the 75th percentile. It shows the different grades, 1 through 3 administrative and technical, 4 through 7 is our manager, supervisors, and advanced technical, and then grades 8 through 11 is directors and senior managers. All of the salary ranges have a 25% spread from minimum salary to maximum with 5 steps. So pretty much the majority of all of our employees are back into salary steps, which is the purpose of the study. For fiscal year 2024 through 2025, the proposed budget includes an assumption of a 10% increase across the board for non-bargain personnel, including the scheduled cost of living that's due on May 1st. So it's approximately $522,000. This proposed compensation for adjustments on May 1st is approximately $375,000. Future administration of the system is to continue to review classifications each year and respond to any changes in the market, to review positions, create, adjust, or abolish positions as needed. So anytime new positions come in, we'll be looking at this and the matrix that they've provided to allow to help us with those salaries, compensation, survey communities for salaries. This is something that Christine and I do all the time when we bring in new positions anyway, but this is something that we'll continue to do, adjust pay ranges as needed, and then move employees through the range based on COLA on an annual basis and merit. And this concludes the presentation from GovHR. Do we have anything to add?
Not at this time.
Is there any questions that I can answer?
All right, yes, Trustee O'Brien, we'll start with you.
Thank you, by the way. That's quite a comprehensive study. Just curious, so the proposed additional is $375,000, right, annually. Is that also included in the upcoming budget?
Yes.
Thanks.
Trustee Thorstenson? Aye.
Think of my question again. So I know we're aspiring to target the 75% percentile. Does the $375,000 that we're budgeting for, does that get us to a 65%? How do you kind of look at that? Or did you give a percentage of everyone's due increase to everyone?
Yeah, so, do you want to answer that? Okay. So we reviewed 37 different positions, and all of them kind of moved dependent on where they needed to move to get to the 75th percentile. So all of the positions are now in the 75th percentile, but some needed to move more than others to get to that point. Some were adjusted by 10% or less, others were adjusted between 10 and 15%, and then there was a couple that were adjusted up to 15% to get to that range.
So then sorry, I've had some experience with market analysis, and I'm thrilled that you're doing the market pay adjustments. So then what's the difference between the 375 and the 535?
I didn't hear. Oh, should be. I'm sorry.
And if it's,
Yeah,
I mean, at a light level, I guess.
So obviously, when we prepared the budget, we didn't know what the outcome of the study would be, so we assumed a 10% for non-bargain. That total is $522,000. Once we made the adjustments based on the study, the actual total is like $375. So it came in under budget.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So there's not like a pending additional 100 and, gotcha. Thank you.
That's my question.
Good question. Trustee Russ?
When you say that it includes their COLA, is that getting them to that place and then they get it, the COLA, or it's?
You want to answer? I couldn't-
The entire ranges that the plan is based on are including the 3% on top of any necessary market adjustments. So that number is not pulled out separately. It's going to be all applied at one time.
Just, this is the raise?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
My left, anybody to my left that has any questions? Nope. So there's an item that we will be dealing with. Pat, is there something else you want to do?
Well, I would just say, so what I'm looking for approval for under new business is this table number 1, the comprehensive table that has the 11 different grades laid out there with the proposed salary ranges at the 75th percentile. That's what staff is looking for your approval for. So as I said, each of the ranges have a 25% spread with 5 steps. These will be the ranges where these positions will be slotted within the ranges. The request would be that that's handled administratively by staff. You're providing me the parameters, and then depending on, the tenure, and if they had been moving through steps, or if they've been top down, et cetera, we get them plugged in where staff feels accordingly within that range. So that's the approval we'll be looking for under new business.
Right. Thank you very much, Christina and Erica. And
I have one question.
Oh, sure.
So,
Trustee Garner?
if I'm hearing this correctly, this is not a one-time huge jump to the 75 percentile?
This is a one-time move to adjust our salary ranges to get them to the proposed 75th percentile range, yes.
So everybody will be at the 75 percentile,
They'll be within a range that tops out at the 75th percentile.
within the range? So
Yes.
everybody won't be at 75 tomorrow?
Correct.
Okay, so they get the step
They'll-
increase?
they'll- Right, all the positions will end up somewhere within that range. So some may be towards the beginning of the range, others that, as I said, may have been topped out for the last 15 years within their range will probably be towards the higher end of the range, but not everyone will start at the last step of the range at the highest.
So it's gradual,
Right, yep,
a gradual move towards 75%?
correct.
Okay.
All right, so we'll revisit that on item 10. So we're just going to go on to new business, and then we'll have a vote later on in our meeting. Right?
Yes.
Okay. We move on to new business. Thank you, Christina and Erica.
Thank you.
Approval of ordinance 2024,
29,
approving the annual budget of the Village of Gurnee, County of Lake, State of Illinois for the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2024 and ending April 30th, 2025.
sure.
Matt?
So Brian went over this during our public hearing. I'll just hit some highlights. Again, budget does not include a property tax, maintain healthy reserves, our AAA bond rating, almost debt-free, only $3.7 million for a low-interest IEPA loan that we're basically making double payments every year to get that from 20 years down to 10. Lowest water rate of all the Jawa communities, less Volo, who levies a property tax to help out with some of that. Able to continue the senior discounts for the water rate, and then add on senior discounts for building permits. In total, just a little over 101 million in expenditures. Revenues, where'd that revenue number go? Was the revenues 99, so a little over 99 for revenues. There is a planned drawdown of fund balance in certain funds, mainly the capital funds that we've talked about before, a capital program of over $16 million. A couple items here on the agenda. We'll talk about adding some additional roadways. The roadway resurfacing plan this year is the largest in Village's history at over 7 miles. Again, solid budget, conservative, focused on public safety, implementing technology where we can. Some increase in staff headcount, again, focused towards public safety and succession planning. So, you know, we've talked about the budget. I think we had our capital presentation back in January, the budget workshop in March, and then the follow-up again tonight. So everyone is aware of what's in it, and we're looking for your approval with May 1 right around the corner here.
All right, any questions or comments? To my right or to my left, is there a motion? Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee
Garner.
Russ. Oh, sorry.
Either or.
Roll call, please.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. We have a budget. We New Year. So thank you to staff. Just really appreciate your hard work on this. And thank you to the village board. It's amazing how smooth the operation runs. Pat always tells me to like knock on wood or something. It doesn't have to always be smooth, but it really has been. I really appreciate the efforts that go in on the front end early on that this has been discussed, so that by the time we get here, it's just a pretty easy process. So thanks. On to item 2, approval of ordinance 2024.
30.
Amending Chapter 32, Article 2, Section 38 of the Gurnee Municipal Code pertaining to the comprehensive fee schedule. Pat?
Sure, so this was also discussed at the public hearing earlier. The only fees the village is included in the upcoming budget is an increase to the water rate of 6%. So that takes the rate from $5.34 to $5.66 per 1,000 gallons. As I just said a minute ago, still cheapest rate in Jawa. Also bumped up the senior discount. So as the Jawa rate goes up, to keep our seniors flat, compared to what they're paying right now, we need to increase the amount of that discount. So we bumped that up from $1.80 per 1,000 to $1.89 per 1,000 gallons for the qualifying seniors. And then same on the water side. Water goes up by 6%. Sewer rates also go up by 6%. So we've got the sewer charge going from $1.67 to $1.77 per 1,000 gallons. And then the service charges increased by a flat fee based off the meter size of 6%. So those are the changes to the comprehensive fee schedule.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Thorstenson, second by trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Motion carries. Item 3, approval of ordinance 2024,
31.
authorizing the transfer for funds from the general fund to the capital improvement fund and the water and sewer capital improvement fund. Pat?
Sure. Also talked about the public hearing, so this is some surplus from a couple of years ago that staff is proposing to transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund and water and sewer capital fund, so $1.5 million to the capital fund to continue to support the roadway program, and then $1.5 million to the water and sewer capital fund, again, to support underground work. And this was built into the budget.
Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee O'Brien, second by trustee Balmas. Roll call, please.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Motion carries. Item number 4, approval of ordinance 2024,
32.
authorizing a change order to the construction contract with Payne and Dolan, Inc. for 2024 street maintenance resurfacing program in the amount of $665,000 to allow the resurfacing of 0.9 miles of roads within the village. Pat?
Sure. So talked about this at the second meeting in March, got a great price on this year's street resurfacing program. Actually came in $1 million under what we had included in the proposed budget. So staff is proposing to use $665,000 of that savings to add another 0.9 miles to the resurfacing program, so that takes us to 7.6 miles in total. As I'd mentioned, largest in village history. The remaining savings from that $1 million, as Brian talked about, use some of it for the Public Works outdoor material storage bins, and then some of it for engineering consultants, which are the next couple items on the agenda. So larger the program, the more eyes you need on it to make sure they're doing it the right way. So, but this right here is just to add that additional 0.9 miles of roadway resurfacing.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Ross. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Motion carries. Item number 5, approval of ordinance 2024,
33.
authorizing execution of a professional services agreement with IMEG for engineering services for the 2024 construction season. Pat?
Sure. So the next two items are related. You had a memo from our village engineer, Nick Leach, on this. So as I stated, larger capital program, need additional assistance. Also, the engineering division is down to just 2 engineers right now. So Danny's going to keep his eyes on the Route 21 water main project that we're going to have going on. Nick's going to spread himself across some other projects and then just also manage the engineering division during that time. But as we've done in past years, bring on some outside engineers that we just pay for the time that we use to assist us with those programs. So we've worked with both IMEG and Clark Dietsch, which is the next item on the agenda. In the past, both have been solid firms, are familiar with the Village of Gurnee, our expectations. So the first one is a contract with IMEG, not to exceed $250,000. They'd be focusing on just general projects around the village, along with the street maintenance program. Second contract is with Clark Dietsch. That's not to exceed $134,160. The combined total of those 2 contracts, $384,160. Again, we only pay for the time we use. So if we're determined that we don't need them for the whole $250,000, we don't pay for the whole $250,000. But again, this is a large capital program, short on staff right now, so we need that outside assistance.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee O'Brien, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to item 6, approval of ordinance 2024,
34.
authorizing execution of a professional services agreement with Clark Dietsch, Inc. for engineering services for the 2024 MFT street maintenance program. Had already talked about that, so is a motion by trustee Balmas,
Second.
second by trustee Ross. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Motion carries. Item 7, approval of ordinance 2024,
35.
authorizing execution of the First Amendment to the redevelopment agreement with Red Crown Investments, LLC, 141, for property located at 4281 and 4885 Grand Avenue, Gurnee, Illinois. Pat?
Sure. So I had a memo from our Economic Development Director, Ellen Dean, on this. In July of last year, we approved a redevelopment agreement with Red Crown to redevelop the BP at Grand and 21, along with the Avalon restaurant next door. So tear down the Avalon, expand the gas station, basically redo the whole site. So Red Crown is working with both the property owner to the south to straighten out the property line. So if you remember, the property line was kind of zigzag. They want to straighten that out, benefit both parties. And then also working with IDOT as far as the curb cuts. So they're looking to close a bunch of curb cuts up. Both of those processes have taken longer than was expected. So they requested an extension on the start date and completion dates. So the proposed amendment takes the commencement of construction from July 1st, 2024 to November 1st, 2025, and the completion deadline from January 1st, 2026 to May 1st, 2027. As we were discussing this with Red Crown, one of the things obviously that we desire is to get that Avalon building down. So they were amenable that if the village would extend those 2 deadlines, that they would agree to demolition of the Avalon restaurant building within 6 months of the approval of this amendment. So redevelopment's still on, just taking a little longer than they thought. Again, getting the Avalon down, I think, would be a win on our side sooner rather than later. So that is what is before you tonight. No other terms related to the agreement change with this amendment. So it's just that start date, completion date, and then Avalon down within 6 months of approval.
Any questions or comments? Trustee O'Brien?
Just a comment, I want to say thank you for putting the Avalon portion in there. Motion to move, to approve.
Wait, I have a question.
Sorry, Mr. Garner.
Oh, that's fine. There's a motion, and then, go ahead, Trustee Garner.
My question is, if we're gonna immediately tear down the Avalon building, what will that look like in the community? I'm always concerned with the aesthetics of our community. I would not like to see a vacant lot for the next year or two. Is there a way that we can have them at least
It's going to be a
put
vacant lot.
lipstick on a pig? if you
Yeah,
will?
I mean, it'll be a vacant lot. I guess if the desire from the village board is to not tear down the Avalon before the start date of the project, we could strike that from the amendment. Staff thought it would be a benefit to get that down, but if the village board feels like it'll be an eyesore, let me know. I mean, we can.
No,
cross
I
that
just
out
bring
here.
it up as a point.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll request that, when they tear it down, that they get it, as flat as possible and cleaned up, where there's not piles of rubble and stuff like that, so it's a clean
That's what I
vacant
mean.
lot, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to look at that either, so.
yeah, I want to make sure that if we're going to do that, we do it in a way that's pleasing, or more pleasing.
Agreed.
So there's a motion pending. Is there any other questions or comments?
Second it.
Second by Trustee Ross. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson,
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Garner,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to item 8, approval of ordinance 2024,
36.
approving a lease agreement to provide temporary construction access to repair the railroad bridge over Illinois Route 41 near Kilbourne Road, Gurnee, Illinois. Pat?
Sure, so I had a memo from our Public Works Director, Heather Gallant, on this. So I think everybody knows, last month, we had an overheight load smack the railroad bridge at 41 in the southbound lanes. So since that time, they conducted an emergency repair, but trains that run over that section of track to the west have speed restrictions in there. So they're looking to get that repaired permanently. In order to do that, they need to access the site to bring in some pretty big equipment. Public Works is right there at the corner of basically the railroad bridge and 41, so they reached out to us. They used our site as a temporary spot when they did the temporary repair. Now they're looking to use our space again. They forwarded a pretty simple lease agreement. The plan is to mobilize equipment. They've got to clear some trees out of there to be able to reach the spot, level the area, haul in some rock. They got to bring in a 100-ton crawler crane to the staging area, and then replace that beam that's on the west side there. We followed up with them about just the aesthetics of the bridge. There's discussion that they're going to paint the new beam as you're coming southbound yellow. We requested that if they paint the southbound, paint the whole thing yellow across there on that one side if you're going to paint anything. And then on the south side, that's rusty. There's some graffiti on there, so we requested to see if they could sandblast that and paint that yellow as well. So this contractor was going to reach out to the railroad to see if they would approve those additional changes. But what's before you is the lease to use our property. They expect it to be about 5 to 6 weeks. They'll return our site back to, better than it was condition. The trees that will be removed, they're all junk trees. They're either on state, forest preserve, or railroad property, so there's no requirement to replace those trees in there. Really, Public Works is the only one that's going to see the trees. There's a small monthly rent amount of $3,000, so helps them out to get that repaired, get the trains back up to speed, a little bit of revenue for the village. So staff feels it's a win for us, and it's before you for consideration.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee Thorstenson. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson,
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Garner,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 9, approval of ordinance 2024,
37.
authorizing execution of a lease agreement between the Village of Gurnee and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, for use of portion of the water tower located at 2010 Northwestern Avenue. Pat?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had one of these. So memo from Assistant to the Village Administrator, Austin Pollock, on this. This is basically a cell lease to place equipment on the northwestern water tower. We own the water tower. There's an equipment shelter at the base that we also own that has some space available. So New Singular is looking to install some antennas up on top of the water tower, use that space that's vacant within the building to house their cell equipment. Attorney Winter worked with staff on this. It's a pretty much boilerplate lease agreement. 5-year term with the option to renew for 2 additional 5-year terms. Base rent at $3,000 a month that adjusts based on the CPI. So we're looking at up to $180,000 over the 5-year term. If we need to repaint that water tower or do any work or et cetera, they'll work with us on that. We always have our contractors take a look at the installation to make sure it's done correctly, so that language is in there. Again, these used to be before the village board a lot, and then it slowed down with companies merging and such, but this space is available on the water tower. You're not going to notice the antennas up on top of there at all. Space in the building, so some new revenue for the village, so staff recommends your approval.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee O'Brien, second by trustee Thorstensen. Roll call, please.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Woodside. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Motion carries. On to item 10, approval of GovHR USA non-bargained employee classification and compensation study recommendations. Just have just a short comment to say that it's an opportunity, I think, sometimes that I'm fond of complimenting and saying good things about our employees. They're awesome employees, but sometimes you have to step up and stand behind what you say and put a few dollars behind it. So I think that's exactly what well, we haven't voted yet, but exactly what the village board will do tonight. So Pat?
Christine and Erica covered this underneath reports. As I said, staff's looking for your approval of the proposed salary ranges, getting us up to the 75th percentile for those 11 new grade classifications, as well as the deputy police and fire chief, police commanders, and captains and battalion chiefs that were included at the end. As Brian Gosnell had stated, we included a 10% increase in the budget. This is coming in under that. So from a financial standpoint, we're covered. There's nothing additional that needs to be done. This is just something we need to do, again, as was stated in the presentation, just be more attentive to and stay on top of better like we do the union contracts. We just need to revisit this more often, but this gets us to the 75th percentile compared to our comparables. And then, again, as we talked about, people will be moving through ranges again, so should be set for a while.
Any comments or questions? Second. Motion by trustee Bomas, second by trustee Woodside. Roll call, please.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Woodside. Aye. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Motion carries. On to item 11, approval of Public Works Department recommendation to award the 2024 concrete sidewalk replacement program to Everlast Blacktop, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $150,000. Joint bid with Arlington Heights and Lincolnshire. Pat?
Yeah, so we've been doing great on roadway resurfacing and water main projects, and then here comes the sidewalk bid, which this is, compared to those programs, obviously small, but so we usually go out with various communities to bid this work. This year we bid it with Arlington Heights and Lincolnshire. Our vendor that we've used the last couple of years, Schroeder and Schroeder, stated that prices are gone up, so they wouldn't renew based off of the cost that they provided last year. They didn't bid the project this year. Had 2 bidders. Everlast was the low bidder. You remember Everlast is the contractor we currently have working on the Dilly's Road ped path. Unfortunately, the prices are almost doubling compared to what we saw last year. The bright side, I guess, if there is a bright side, is that this is Zone 5, which is on the east side of the village, and isn't as much sidewalk and as work needed over there as there are in other parts of the village. So looking to move forward with Everlast at a cost not to exceed $150,000 and get as much sidewalk replacement done as we can with that dollar amount.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee O'Brien, second by trustee Ross. Roll call, please.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Woodside. Aye. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Motion carries. Item 12, approval of police department request to purchase 9 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe 4 Will drive PPV police interceptors from Miles Chevrolet at a cost of $488,043. Police Department units 140, 144, 148, 155, 162, 158, 159, 160, and 177. Pat?
Sure. So I had a memo from our Fleet Management Administrator, Craig Lambrick, on this. This is the purchase for police squads for next year. We're back to Miles Chevrolet, who has a state bid. You remember we were purchasing them out of Iowa. That has dried up, so we're back to Miles. You had a memo in your packet from Craig with information regarding the vehicles, so I'll just give kind of a brief summary. They range from 2013 to 2018 model years with a vehicle replacement score of 50 to 64, so he laid out the VRS, basically anything above 28 should be considered for immediate replacement. Average engine hours on these 9 squads is about 14,000 hours. So the industry standard of 1 engine hour equals 33 miles. These squads have an average equivalent of 462,000 miles on each of them. We will see if there's some that we can hang on to use for other uses in the fleet. I know one of them they're going to hang on to keep as a backup canine vehicle.
David's smiling right now.
Yeah, it's been a couple years since David has had any hand-me-downs, so David's community development fleet's in pretty rough shape. So he's looking to have some of those handed down to him as well. Be able to get the Tahoes, the issue will be the upfitting, which is way backlogged right now. So unfortunately, this will probably be another one of those deals where the vehicles are on site and they sit for months on end waiting to be upfitted. So it's not like this approval means that they will be here and on the road anytime soon. It'll probably be a while, which again, vehicles that are currently on the road, they'll just keep adding those additional engine hours and miles on them, so more wear and tear. But this is those vehicles. It's more than we typically see. As I said, I think they've got an ET vehicle in there, there's a K-9 vehicle, and then 7 patrol squads that are before you for consideration tonight. So, and again, talked about this at the capital presentation in January, talked about the budget hearing in March, and then, so nothing's changed with that regard.
Any questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Garner,
Second.
second by trustee Thorstensen. Roll call, please.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside. Aye. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the public comment. If you'd like to step up and make a comment and state your name. I don't want to irritate either one of you gentlemen, so as long as you're not standing up to say anything, that's good, so, unless you want to. All right, so public comments closed. On to the executive session. Brian?
It'd be appropriate to have a roll call vote to go in executive session. One is the semi, and the second to discuss compensation for a specific employee. Further acceptance, 1 to 21.
All right, so is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee.
Second.
Second.
Oh, Garner, sorry. Greg, I'm getting you wrong. Second. Second would be trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside. Aye. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
So no action will be taken, right? So no action will be taken when we come back out, so.